So welcome to the sixth tutorial or 5 if I'm mistaken, and in this tutorial we will tell you about how to collect all the static files into your project, because there's a lot of time when you are going to work with the static files and it's essential. Okay, so let's get started. So we remember from the screen record is on. So we remember from our previous tutorial, if we run this command and see our website, we can see this is our website which we have made using the HTML and CSS and Bootstrap from the website, such as WC School and so on. However, this is not the course on front-end development, so I'm not gonna go through and build this project from scratch, and instead I have the front-end team already and I will be working with it instead of creating an entirely new front-end. Okay, so hopefully you guys understand. And in order to work with the front end that we have, let's first go through all those templates, I believe. So it's in my folders here, so you may want to see. This is what we are going to integrate with our Django framework. So this is how the website will look like. We already have the front end. So what we do is just going to work with it backend. Everything here is now static. It is not dynamic. In order to make it dynamic, we have to do some backend work. Yeah, that's the purpose. So we have many more. You may check it yourself. Yeah, and I will consider posting this file if you wanted to, and if you want to go along with me. Okay, so now let me close this thing and let me do something first. Okay, so I'm gonna open my project and tutorial Django. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Sorry, it took me quite a while. No, not tutorial Django. It's Django practice. Practice something. Okay, I'm gonna search for it. It doesn't sound just right. Okay, so Django practice to do app, and here we go. To do app, and this is the app, I believe. And we first want to add our static file that we want to work with into here, and you will see why in a minute. So static. Okay, so let me sort it by name. Okay, so now we have static, right? And then all this HTML file, it's not it's a static type, but we will conclude it later in the HTML file that provided by the Django framework. So now we only need to import those files that we cannot code in our Django framework, such as CSS and JavaScript. I believe in Python they don't allow it, so we can only code it from the outside and import it to the inside. So that's the main static file that we need in this project. So let's go ahead and make a copy of it. Okay, so duplicate. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. This thing is too loud. Okay, so, don't mind me. It's not so good. Okay, so now let me rename this thing to Bootstrap. Bootstrap, and remove this thing to themes. Okay, and hopefully it's set by name already. Okay, cool. So now we got this static file in our project, right? And we have these two static files that we need to import immediately because that is the thing that we cannot write in Python. The only thing that Python provides us is the Python code itself and the HTML file. That's what we can do. If you want to write like embedded or external CSS file in JavaScript, I don't think that's possible. Unless you put all the code into one HTML file, that will be possible, but for project that is scalable, not a good practice. That's why I suggest creating a static file and import all the static file into our project and work with it later on. It would be a good practice. And for this code, you will see how we do with it in a minute. Yeah, okay. So now, hopefully, see the screen here. So hopefully we have our static files, okay? So now we have our static file, right? So what we have to do next is go to our setting.py and we do need to configure something. First, we configure this static file. If I'm not mistaken, that's okay, static root. And this static root, we have to configure it because when we deploy our code into into use, what it's gonna look for is the static root, not the static file that it has been imported. We have imported our static file to our project manually, but when we deploy the code and when the code comes and look at the static file, it won't goes and look at there. It will go and look at the default static root. And that one that we imported earlier is not the default static root. The default static root that the code will be looking at is what we are going to define now. Okay, hopefully you got that. Yeah, os.path.joins, come along with me, base directory, and then what? Static. Okay, and then in order to put all the static file that we have imported into the default root, we must first define the static file directory first so that it collects from the static file directory that we have imported into the default static root so that whenever the application is reloaded, it will go and look at the default static root that has been imported from the static file that we manually imported there. You got what I mean? It's like the static file storing there for temporary, and then the static file we will use the collect static command from there and put it into a default root, and that default root is what we will use for the implementation code and deploy, not the one that we import manually. Hopefully you get the idea. Okay, so now we got a static and static file, then root if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, directory, I'm sorry. Okay, static file, then directory. Yeah, I follow this video also. This video is good. Yeah, okay, and then just go ahead, path.join the base directory, and this one is where is the current directory of the static file we have imported. It's in the to do app slash static. So we import it from here and put it in the default root of the static file because this is where the Django will look for the static files. Not here, but here. That's why we need to import it from here to here. Simple as that. So static files. Okay, so now what we have to do is we run the command python manage.py collect static. Then here you go. You got all your static files from here imported to the default root. And now let me refresh it and you can see that the static here has even more. Before it only has like a couple of things, but now it has more than that, which is it has the admin and it has the CSS, fonts, images, yeah, and the JS as well, and Bootstrap CSS, link icon, Bootstrap themes. Wait, why is it not there? jQuery, action render, jQuery. Yes, hopefully you got the idea. And now, yeah, we already got our static file imported to the default root, and that's the main purpose of this video. Yeah, that's it.